Signals that could be from the plane's black boxes have been detected in the southern Indian Ocean. An Australian ship picked up two signals Sunday in the northern part of the search zone. Earlier, Chinese ships had also reported hearing electronic signals. When searchers have narrowed down where the pings came from, they plan to send an underwater drone to take a closer look. But they say it could take days to confirm if the signals were actually what they're looking for. They're being cautious, but are hopeful.
I'm much more optimistic than I was a week ago, and some of you saw me a week ago. I was really concerned because we hadn't found any wreckage, which is usually, I think, in most other searches of this nature, the narrowing of the search area and the eventual finding of the downed aircraft has been enabled by wreckage on the surface.
More on the search and the investigation, senior international correspondent Nick Robertson joins us live from Kuala Lumpur. And Nick, can you bring us up to date on exactly what's going on? It sounds extremely encouraging that two different ships heard pings, but they're not exactly in the same place, or do they think they're hearing the same ping? Where are we with this?
Well, it seems to be in a phase of cross-checking and double-checking, and certainly the transport minister here said that he'd talked with the lead of that search mission, Angus Houston, and came away from that conversation encouraged, even to the point of saying that he thought it could be hours away before we knew the result. This is what he said.
We are cautiously hopeful that there will be a positive development in the next few days, if not hours.
So he didn't actually say what he based that on, but the fact that he's had this conversation with Angus Houston does imply that perhaps he got more information from him, or Angus Houston had more back from the ships involved in the search, particularly the Australian ship that's detected over longer periods and at one point having two different pings, believing them to be from the two different black boxes there that were on board the aircraft. So it does seem to be a moment of optimism. That said, we talked today here with somebody who knows some of the family members of the crew who were on board that flight, and he said that those family members he was talking to were beginning to realize that they may be getting close to finding out a definitive answer, and were preparing themselves. But that's not the feeling of all the families. Some of the families really don't want to believe in this until they see there's some concrete evidence, that there is proof that this really is the plane, that it has been found, MH370 has been located. Only then will they let themselves believe and understand what is going to be very, very difficult for them to deal with, loss of loved ones here, Maggie.
And that is understandable given all the false starts that we have had. Nick, there's also a lot of tension once again on the flight path of the plane, isn't there?
There is. Malaysian officials, senior government officials here have told us that they believe that the aircraft flew around Indonesian airspace, purposefully avoiding skirting its radar control. This for them is sort of helping build a more accurate, a fuller picture of what was going through the mind, the psychological profile of the person controlling the aircraft. Now, we know that the plane took that sharp left-hand turn after flying off the coast of Malaysia. It flew back across the Malaysian peninsula. Questions then whether or not this was a mechanical failure. What was the person in control trying to do? Officials here have said that the person flying the aircraft knew well how to fly the aircraft, knew the area, knew what they were doing. But this additional information now really seems to fill in. Not only were they technically skilled, but here they are, investigators believe, doing essentially evasive measures, avoiding being tracked, and then taking the aircraft into a very remote part of the ocean. So that for investigators will tell them a little bit more about who was behind this, what was going through their mind, perhaps. Maggie?
And of course, what we don't know is why that would be, which is why it is so urgent to find those black boxes. Nick, thank you so much. Nick